Hello, this is Mystery.
And welcome to the beautiful Antrim coast in Ireland.
On today's show...
Is this really the scariest castle in Ireland?
And what mystery could be inside this crate that would cause chaos and confusion in a car park?
Hello, I'm Steve.
And I'm Shiarra, and this is the Giant's Causeway on Ireland's Antrim coast.
It's home to one of the world's most bizarre natural phenomena. Now, you may think the coast behind us looks pretty normal, and you'd be right, but it's when you get down there that things aren't quite so ordinary.
There are about 40,000 hexagonal columns which form stepping stones leading from the bottom of the cliff to right under the sea.
Actually, Shiarra, why don't you follow one of these paths and see actually how far under the sea they go?
Thanks for that, Steve, but I've just dried my hair.
I'm only joking. I tell you what though, it's got to be said that Ireland is gorgeous.
And aren't the Irish people lovely?
Yes, Shiarra, Irish people are lovely.
You're so right. And not only are the Irish people lovely, but our mysteries are beautiful. Just take a look around you. You won't find any nasty or boring, creepy mysteries around here.
I take it you've never been to Charleville Castle in Tullamore in the south then?
And what's so nasty and creepy and boring about Charleville Castle?
Oh, nothing. Just that it's meant to be one of the most haunted places in Ireland. Watch and learn. It was a cold, wet autumn afternoon and builders Pat O'Brien and Frank Keaveney were about to start another job. But this wasn't to be any normal job.
So, Frank, where are we headed to next?
I don't believe it. We've got to go up to the castle. They need us to stand in for their normal builders. They didn't turn up today.
OK, let's go.
I'm not so sure. You know as well as I do about the goings-on up at that castle. I don't think we should go.
Well, I think I'd quite like to earn some money today, so start that engine.
And Frank often talked about the castle, but never had cause to come here before now. They were just looking down their job sheet to see who they should speak to when...
Oh, you must be... Hello?
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 Pat and Frank decided to find the room that needed the work doing, but as they started to climb the stairs, something stopped them in their tracks.
Oh my, what was that?
It'll be the owner's children playing. Nothing to worry about, I'm sure. Hey, you up there. Be careful. Kids, I don't know, okay?
Frank felt very uneasy. He'd heard a lot of strange stories about the castle, and he was starting to think they might be true.
Pat, that picture's watching me. I swear to you, the eyes have moved.
So, what do you think it was that was playing games with poor Frank?
I think it was who, not what, and I'm with Pat on this one. It was obviously the castle owner's children just having a bit of fun. And people know that when portraits are painted looking in a certain direction, they may seem to be following you, but when in fact they're not. And I think you and Frank should just stop all this ghostly, ghouly talk.
And I think you should check out what happened next before you make up your mind.
Wait, so what needs doing in here?
Hey, Pat, what was that?
There's plenty of old bad wiring in these old buildings, Frank. Will you ever stop worrying?
Where are my tools? They've disappeared.
I think you're going mad. So we need to replace...
Pat, does the room look smaller to you?
I'll pretend I didn't hear that.
Pat, you can't tell me I'm imagining that. This room is getting smaller. I'm out of here.
You gave me the fright of my life.
Sorry.
Sorry I didn't see you earlier. I've been out in the garden.
Your children might want to be a bit more careful up there. I'm sure there must be a few loose floorboards.
And that room in there just got smaller.
Hang on. I don't have any children. And there's no one else here.
The men went upstairs and searched all of the rooms but found no one. It wasn't long before they'd packed up their tools and left the castle.
Scaredy cats. I don't believe in ghosts. It was probably just the village children having a laugh or something.
Okay, but what about the door that opened by itself, the portrait with the moving eyes, the moving walls, and the disappearing tools?
All the results of drafts and dodgy electrics in the castle, and probably your overactive imagination.
There is no such thing as an overactive imagination. Low-flying elephant, duck! Local people have always known about the Giant's Causeway, but when it was discovered by the rest of the world in 1693, there were loads of theories as to how it was formed. Was it natural or was it man-made?
Man-made? I don't think any man could have made something like this. But there is a legend about the Giant's Causeway, and there's a clue to it in the name.
That'll be giants then.
Yeah, really good guess, Steve. It's about a giant called Finn McCool who was thought to be over 16 metres tall, you know.
Oh, yeah. There was another giant across the water in Scotland on an island called Staffa. He was called Benandonna, and he was supposed to be 19 metres tall. Now, Finn McCool had challenged Benandonna to a fight to see who was the toughest.
Typical boys. Anyway, one day Finn McCool decided to build a rocky causeway across to the Scottish island. But when he got there and saw the size of Benandonna, he soon turned and fled back to Ireland.
But Benandonna was in hot pursuit, so Finn had to do some pretty quick thinking when he got home.
Or rather, Una, Finn's wife, did. She told him to lie down and dressed him like a baby in a blanket and bonnet.
So when Benandonna saw the baby, he turned around straight away and ran all the way back to Scotland. He thought if Finn's baby was so huge, then Finn himself must be absolutely gigantic, and he'd have no way of beating him in a fight.
And that's what I call girl brain power. Wasn't Una really smart?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. A good thing to do for a girl.
Well, Steve, the only thing round here that's giant has got to be your ego.
Ooh.
Hello, my name's Ollie, and I want to tell you about something that happened to me last summer. One day, my brother and I stopped for petrol on our way home from the cinema. My brother was filling up the car, and I was sat looking out the window. I was watching the field opposite when I saw something move. I got out of the car and looked closer. I couldn't believe my eyes. Crouched in the field and staring straight back at me was a creature like nothing I'd seen before. It wasn't a dog, it was totally the wrong shape, and it couldn't be a normal cat because it was far too big. I've seen pictures of big cats in the wild in Britain, but this was something different. The big cat looked more like a lioness than anything else. It was about this high and a sandy brown colour, with long legs and a long tail. Lots of people stopped their cars and lorries to have a look, and after a while the lioness ran into the woods. I knew big cats existed in the countryside, but I never expected a lioness to be living so close to the city that I live in. I know that big cats like pumas have been seen in the wild around these parts, but the reason for this is that many of these animals were once exotic pets. However, I don't think a lion has ever been seen before, and there must be another reason for this. I can only imagine that it had escaped from a local zoo or wildlife park, because there's no way that lions could be living in the wild in Britain. Or could they?
Wow, imagine being curled up at one of those.
I know, the results could be catastrophic.
Steve, the legend of the giants can be seen throughout the coastline, and all of the formations have giant-like names, like this, the Giant's Gate.
Or this, the Giant's Organ. I bet you he used to play rock music on it.
Or even this, the Giant's Camel. Because, of course, a giant wouldn't have anything as simple as a horse.
And check this out, I'm sat on the Giant's Boot. I'm sure I can smell cheese.
And this is known as the wishing chair, and I'm going to make a wish. I wish I knew how old these rocks were.
Well, actually, I can help you there. The rocks were formed 60 million years ago when there was a huge volcanic eruption. Boiling hot lava seeped out of the rocks and formed a huge pool. Now, when the lava cooled, it cracked along regular lines to form these hexagonal columns.
And talking of hot things, here's our next mystery.
It was extremely hot and humid, but otherwise a day like any other as people went about their daily routine. Nearby, the workmen were hard at work. Everything was peaceful, but this peace was about to be shattered by a most mysterious event. Mrs. Cooper had just bought ice lollies for her 2 girls.
Mummy, what was that?
Sounded like it came from the car park. Oh my word, the car!
Meanwhile, back at the car park.
See the match last night? Good game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought United was robbed.
Did you hear something?
No, I didn't hear nothing.
Where?
Well, what do you think caused the explosion?
Well, it's pretty obvious, really. It was a bomb. It was kept inside the container on the truck. So if we find the truck driver, then we'll have found our man. Yep, that pretty much wraps it up. I'm just glad nobody was hurt. It's a matter for the police.
Hang on. You're not Sherlock Holmes, and we're in the mystery-solving business, not the crime-solving business. And I said what, not who.
And I told you, it was a bomb that caused the explosion.
Guess again, detective.
You all right, Steve? Blimey, what happened there?
What happened? Didn't you hear the gas pipe? What are all these ping-pong balls?
Hey!
What are you lot doing with my ping-pong balls?
Yours?
Yeah, well, I'm delivering them, see? There's thousands of them in that box. Well, there was. Well, I got hot, so I stopped for a nice lolly.
Worked it out yet, Inspector?
Well, I still think it was a bomb, but I can't work out where the ping-pong balls came from.
Well, I suppose I better tell you then. It was a really hot day, and the container with the ping-pong balls inside it was getting really hot, causing the air inside the ping-pong balls to expand. And in the end, the heat was so intense, and the air had expanded so much, there was nowhere else for it to go.
So you're telling me that it was the ping-pong balls themselves that caused the explosion?
Yep.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. The mystery of the ping-pong bomb solved. Steve, you know the legend of the giants?
Yeah.
Well, it's said that when you're walking away from the Causeway and you glance back over your shoulder and squint your eyes up, you might just see Finn McCool.
Really?
No, it's just a myth.
Then who's that massive bloke dressed as a baby?
Where?
It's just a myth, Shiarra.
Haha, Steve, very funny. We'll see you soon for some more mystery. Bye.
In our next show, we've all heard of strange happenings in spooky places, but what could possibly have occurred in this ordinary car park?
And what links this mystery liquid to this photograph?